In this video, we're going to be covering off the startup procedures and some of the features of the SBS RAPTOR X.1. It's a prototype single-seat helicopter developed for a military or police role. Right now, it's armed with 4 DART missiles, 4 Dumbfire rockets actually, and so let's get started. So on the outside, you have your canopy controls. Opens both sides, as well as a ground anchors deploy. It's 2 mag-alls that drop from the belly and applied, so this will keep the Raptor in place. It's only activatable from the outside. So let's get in the cockpit. Use the ladder. Pilot seat. So let's get started. Engine controls. Turn on the power. Sitting in idle mode, there's 3 modes: idle, flight, and overdrive. Idle is for when you're on the ground. It's to keep the batteries charged. Flight mode is limited power, allows for flight. It's just designed for basically if you're loitering in altitude hold. And overdrive is really kind of where you want to use it in most cases. That's for maximum speed and maneuverability. So let's put it in idle and we'll just get the Raptor configured for flight. So let's close the canopy. We'll turn the heat, maintains 20 degrees Celsius. We can turn the internal lights on. A little light in the back. You can switch it to low light mode as well. You can adjust the brightness up and down of that light. Parking brake and gears on, as well as auto hover mode. So let's turn on the navigation and collision lights, as well as the taxi and spotlights. So there's 2 lights at the bottom when the wheels are deployed and a spotlight at the front. So we're ready to start going. So there's 2 ways you can get out. You can turn off the parking brake, and you can press pitch forward, that'll send you forward, or you can also ramp up the pusher mower by hitting button 3, and that'll bring the throttle up slightly and push you out. And additionally too as well, you can turn on the altitude hold system, start it up in flight mode, so it ramps it up. Let's go all the way to overdrive, and then hitting the 1 key you can adjust the hold altitude, and we'll put it to like 8 meters. So now we're hovering off the ground, and let's retract the landing gear. So right now we're in auto hover mode with hold altitude. We'll apply the pusher mower just to push us out slightly. So we're clear of all obstructions. Dial it all the way back. So let's get it going to using autopilot. So I'm just going to get the altitude up, give us a little bit of space, get us up to about 25 meters. The autopilot controls are located to the right. Well, so the autopilot entry is located to the right of the pilot. So let's define a location. The way it works is that we define GPS X and Y, and then we define an altitude for the destination. And what will happen is that the Raptor autopilot fly-by-wire system will calculate a progressive path to that final destination point. So all we have to do in order to engage autopilot is click on the AP toggle button and start to to find its path. You want to see the distance. The distance to the autopilot waypoint is at the top, as well as displayed in the map, and this shows the bearing to target. Now the Raptor tends to come in because of the kind of shape a little bit slightly to the left, but once it gets to its to the waypoint, it'll start a slowdown process and come to a stop at the waypoint. And once it gets within about 10 to 15 meters, the waypoint will be detected as reached. It'll click into hold altitude and auto hover mode. So some of the features in terms of the multifunction displays, there's 3 multifunction displays. There's one on the left. It's a simple multifunction display. It'll show the engine information. You click on it, this goes to the consumption pad from Crim1. Clicking again, there's a little camera on the bottom of the Raptor you can use for landing, or just seeing where you are from below, and then it'll cycle back. On the right MFD, you have the radio controls. You can turn on the radio here. Right now it is in single band mode, so you communicate and receive on the same channel, but we can change that into dual channel, where you can actually change, what you send on and what you receive. So if you want to send, you push this to push the talk. Now everything is going to go through the microphone, and when you engage, it's receiving full signal coming through. So we'll turn that off. Next one up, time, and below that, you have your camera below. Cycle it back. The main MFD, this is the map. It's an interactive map. This is Banu's interactive map. Always love this one here. Change the colors a little bit more green. The next screen you have is the gimbal camera, which is located on the front. And the gimbal camera has a laser distancer on it too as well. Just turn off the spotlight. So in order to control it, you just basically point where you want the camera to go. And it has a range of 90 degrees to the left and 90 degrees to the right. And depending upon your field of view, it will adjust the speed. So we're all the way over 90, so it won't go any further. Let's see if we can point at something a little bit more interesting in front of us. So let's cycle back. Yeah, there we go. And let's dial in the field of view. And pinpoint the hangar. Now also I can turn on the laser distancer. It'll tell me the distance to the contact point. And it also has a night vision option. So that's the camera controls, and they're all located on the MFD panel. The next panel we have is a radar. Radar is configurable for multiple ranges. So you got 50 meters in, and then you can go all the way out to 5 kilometers. So it does a 360 degree sweep, and it will pick up spots. It remembers them. So if you adjust, it adjusts the sweep every, it goes around every 360 degrees, and it will adjust the contact locations. And then you can pause it as well if you want to keep the current contacts on the screen. So that's the radar. Next is weather. This, in terms of the wind speed, etc., it'll automatically adjust the direction and the wind speed depending upon the craft, the vehicle's speed and direction. Next screen, this is the arming screen for the weapons on the Raptor. Right now there are 6 hard points. The system works by reading a pylon data point, a little red kind of point on the end of the current DART missile. Actually provides information to the pylon on what's attached. Right now it's just a dumbfire rocket. In order to use the system, you must arm it. And in arming it, you'll notice that it comes up on the HUD, and it'll show basically your pylons, what is your active pylon, as well as what pylons are available. Right now it's configured for 4 items on the internal pylons. The empty pylons are the ones on the wingtip. You can post missiles in there if you want to, and it will automatically populate this. So this says pylon 3, there's a dumbfire rocket located on pylon 3. If you want to fire that missile, all you got to do is press 5, and will automatically cycle to the next rocket. The best way to use these dumbfire missiles is going at full speed, and you have to kind of adjust. So if you look on the HUD now, you'll notice that you have, right now we're using the one on the internal left, so you have to kind of line up. If you're going up, the best way is to go at full speed, aim, try to put the target on the pylon point, and it will attempt to beat a straight line in on the target. There is no tracking, it's just completely dumbfire right now. So it's a bit hit or miss, but if you're going full speed, it adds speed to the rocket. There is a better chance that you're going to hit the target. We can do a bit of that later on. But you'll notice now it's indicating pylon 5 and 6 are on, so I'm just going to disarm it right now, and it says that the active pylon is 5 of the 6 pylons. I'm just going to disarm the system right now, and it removes everything. Next thing basically is your flare controls. On the unit, there are white illums facing rear, red illums facing front, white chutes that should go up, and white smoke that goes down. So all you have to do in order to engage that, so we're going to fight a white illum rear. Just click it, and you'll see that it goes off, and it'll pull the things down. Red illum out the front. There's a set of 2 on the front, and a set on the wingtips. We'll just fire those out. Red, and then you have white chutes, 2. They're right near the tail, going up, and there they are. And then the bottom, we got smoke. Firing from the bottom, they drop. Let's get out of the smoke a bit here. I have auto hover on, hold altitude. Pusher mower is off, and we are in overdrive mode for flight. Alright. So, this is a video just covering off the features of getting going, using autopilot, using auto hold, and using auto hover, as well as an introduction to all the various MFDs and the control, the radio, etc., and radar. In the next video, I'm going to be covering off how to use the Raptor in a mode that really shines, I refer to as free flight mode. That's basically where all of the assistive flight modes are turned off, and you can put it through its paces, do heavy rolls, extremely maneuverable, and we'll be covering off in the next video. All right, thank you very much.